Everyone, let's take number 11 in section 5.1. Their instructions are to estimate L4 and R4. That's the left-hand sum, and the R4 is the right-hand sum, right? Where n is equal to 4 subintervals over the interval from 0 to 4 for this function here, 8 times the square root of x. Again, your function might be slightly different. Instead of 8, you might have another number, for instance. So very similar, though, to the way we do this. Use the decimal notation and give your answer to 3 decimal places. Okay, so let's first talk about the width of each subinterval. The length of the interval from 0 to 4. 4 minus 0 is 4. The number of subintervals is 4, and so 4 divided by 4 equals 1, right? Each subinterval will be length 1. So our endpoints of our subintervals, x sub 0, which is the same as the left endpoint here, is 0, is our first endpoint, and then just add 1, and we get our next endpoint, and add 1 again, 2, we get our next one. Add 1 again, add 1 again. Notice by the time we get to x sub 4, we should be at our right-hand endpoint, which we are. So each of these subintervals, the first one's from 0 to 1, next one from 1 to 2, next one's from 2 to 3, and then last one's from 3 to 4. These 4 subintervals all have a width of 1. So what's our left-hand sum? We will find the height of our rectangle on the first interval from 0 to 1 by using the left-hand endpoint, and the left-hand endpoint is x sub 0, right? Times the width, which is going to be 1. Then the second subinterval, the left-hand endpoint is x sub 1 times the width. The third subinterval, the left one is x sub 2, and the last one, the left endpoint is x sub 3. So notice the delta x is on a factor of all 4 terms. I'll factor that out. And then we have f of x sub 0. Of course, x sub 0 is 0, x sub 1 is 1, x sub 2 is 2, and x sub 3 is 3. Of course, delta x is just 1. What is f of 0? Remember our function up here, 8 times the square root of x. Well, the square root of 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0, so that's going to be 0. F of 1, 8 times the square root of 1 is 8 times 1, which is 8. F of 2 would be 8 times the square root of 2. F of 3 would be 8 times the square root of 3. And so we just need to enter this now into our calculator. Since it's 1 times all this, obviously it's just going to be all this. And of course, I can get rid of the 0. And so I just really need to add up, right, those 3 quantities. And that's easy to do in the calculator. I've done that here at the top. 8 plus 8 root 2 plus 8 root 3 is this. And remember, they said to round to 3 decimal places. So I look to the third decimal place. The next fourth digit is a 1, so I leave it as 0, right? 33.170. For the right-hand sum, very similar, except now we'll use the right-hand endpoint. So for the first interval, that is x sub 1, second subinterval x sub 2, third subinterval x sub 3, fourth subinterval x sub 4. And so factoring out that delta x as before, we'll have f of 1 plus f of 2 plus f of 3 plus f of 4. Delta x is 1, and as we saw above, f of 1 is 8, f of 2 is 8 square root of 2, f of 3 is 8 square root of 3. F of 4 would be 8 square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 8 times 2 is 16. So I'm going to add basically just 16 to this. In fact, you can see 16 more than 33.170 is 49.170. I've done it in here, so you can see that as well. So again, rounding to 3 decimal places. Those are the 2 results. Pretty easy, hopefully. Hope, again, as always, that this is helpful.